the 7 neighborhoods that are getting a plan or implementation plan to make sure that it's action-based. Community is pretty much writing, so you said all the things, I'm just writing them down because I have the background. But yeah, I've been here like a month.
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks. Come on. So we're going to be like, you're going to see we're a team. We're going to be doing the community engagement and the planning together. And thankfully, we got along really well. And so when we talk about those 7 neighborhoods, most of you probably heard about the $147 million that the Emerald Trail has received. It was all over the news. But what people don't really talk about is the money that's going towards revitalization. We realize at groundwork that sometimes when you bring improvements, you bring green infrastructure, it sometimes lead to green gentrification. People can no longer afford to live in their neighborhoods. They can no longer afford the taxes in their neighborhoods. And so that's why we're working with some of our more vulnerable neighborhoods within the next 5 segments that we're doing. How many of you go by the Prime Osborne? You've seen, that's our Lavilla Link. You see all the green stuff on the road, and there's a big mural on the bridge there. We're very proud of that. That was done through community engagement. So those 7 neighborhoods that we're going to be working with, okay, those 7 neighborhoods that we will be working with are Brentwood, College Gardens, Durkeeville, Newtown, North Riverside, Phoenix, Robinson's Addition. Oh my goodness, I got through all of them. I do it alphabetically. That's my trick, y'all. And so those are neighborhoods. I know all of you had a plan. You have some city plan out there, right? That's just never been implemented. So we're not going to try to create something new, maybe we are, but looking back at those old plans and say, what did we want back then that we didn't get? What was in those plans that didn't come to fruition? Now's the time that we can start talking about that, but we don't want to create plans for these neighborhoods that are going to sit on the shelf like so many have done in the past. We want implementable plans, which means that as we work with the neighborhood, and Phoenix is one of the first neighborhoods that we're going to be working with starting probably March, April. So I'm ahead of the game. I'm working with you all ahead of the game. Phoenix and Brentwood are our first ones. What's Lucius doing back here?
How about East 21st?
Oh, well, yes, East 21st is included.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
it is.
Good.
You know, I was at that meeting too. Look, Ennis is my partner in crime in these type of meetings because he's a board member of Groundwork Jacksonville. Yes, I put you out there like that.
Okay.
So, some of the themes that we see repeatedly when we work with neighborhoods, like we're working with Robinson's Addition, also ahead of the game. We can't wait sometimes. Robinson's Addition has experienced some of the same problems that the Historic East Side has experienced and the same things that have been experienced in North Riverside. North Riverside is where we have, and I'm taking longer than I planned to. I know. She's like, North Riverside is the community where Groundwork started a home repair program. It was something that as we did community engagement, as we talked to them, they were like, we went in talking about doing a creek restoration because that's what, we're an environmental nonprofit. We're about improving brownfields, you know, making neighborhoods safer environmentally. But when you do true community engagement, it goes so much deeper than that. And it took about a year for them to warm up to me. You all, I'm happy here. It's only taken a few months. It took about a year for North Riverside to really warm up to me and say, Gloria, yes, we want the creek to be cleaned up. That's important to us. Yes, the trail is okay. There'll be a clean creek. White folks will be kayaking up and down McCoy's Creek. But what we really need, what about crime in our neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
How am I going to be able to afford to stay in this neighborhood when it's all gentrified, because that's what they were afraid of. They were afraid of being displaced from their neighborhood. They were concerned about affordable housing. They were concerned about economic development. When you do all of these improvements, are there going to be jobs that come to our neighborhood? And so those things were of concern, and we went to LISC Jacksonville And they helped us get a consultant, and we did a visioning process with them. And as we had heard, as we thought, affordable housing kind of came up top, but it was all under that anti-displacement strategy. So we worked on forming a plan for the home repair program, hiring a case manager, what process we were going to go through. My girlfriend left already, so I can't give Suzanne props because they already had a home repair program. So we kind of copied what they had done and tailored it to North Riverside. And we managed to get funding from Groundwork USA. That was $400,000. And this wonderful lady right here, Melanie Patz, we pitched to you, Kay pitched and told you what we were doing, what we were trying to do for the neighborhood, and United Way provided another $600,000. We have a funder who didn't come through for us, but I'm not going to put them on the spot. We ended up with $1 million towards that home repair program. We have repaired 37 homes. We put on, oh gosh, I can't remember how many roofs, and I don't want to lie. But so what we were doing, we were looking at quality of life. We're putting roofs on homes, having a safe roof that doesn't leak. Also, adds to your resilience from storms, from hurricanes, and it protects the rest of the house. And we're doing HVAC systems, and we're even doing some landscaping, putting in rain gardens, gutters. So that's the joy. Now we're out of money, and so we're out there looking. Okay.
Figuring out how much we can write the check for.
I know for poor Melanie, she's looking at us because not only we have 2 neighborhoods that we're asking for now. We're asking for North Riverside and we're asking for Robinson's Addition. But we have a city that has a lot of need. We have programs that the city provides, but they're all of Jacksonville. And sometimes by the time, do you remember when they put out the word about their repair program? Yes, and they were like, it opens up, I'm just going to use an arbitrary date, on January 12th. And when they made that announcement, all the funds had been expended before the end of the day, because there's so much need. And so we're trying to help those neighborhoods that are so affected by the Emerald Trail, because we're bringing so much development to you, and we want to help you all along. And what we've done in our other communities, we hope to do with you all. So you're like, okay, I'm done now.
I had a question that I wanted to ask you too,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
we need to get funding out in the Phoenix Avenue neighborhood as far as rehabbing and things like that, because
Yes.
they have been overlooked.
Yes.
And then there are some now, Suzanne and them, they did a couple of houses, but it's just so many people
There's so
that need
many,
that
there's so much
service.
need. There's so much need.
Yeah, it's a greater need.
So I'm going to commend this lady, first of all, because she's doing the first step that you need to take. Becoming organized. Having a group of people who say, yes, we're Phoenix, or we're East 21st Street.
East to the first street.
And you two may decide that you're going to want to join, and that's part of the the neighborhood planning, to see where you want to go. But organizing is one of the most important things. When you have a dedicated group, a neighborhood association, you have your goals. I keep talking to her about them becoming a CDC, y'all. Okay, because CDCs can make more changes and okay, I'll let a planner talk about that.
Oh.
But this is the first step. Becoming organized and being a voice that speaks for your community. Okay? Okay. Oh, look, since I talked for a minute. Yes, sir.
All right, if, I know we're talking about the east side right now, but a lot of people on the east side migrate to North Shore and those neighborhoods. Do we have plans that could develop somewhere there too?
Let me talk with you later, okay?
I know you're talking about planning and maybe a neighborhood association, but when you think of your planning and neighborhood association, there are lots of apartments in the neighborhood or in the whole east side. Has anyone ever considered including maybe a tenant association or housing use include tenants in some of the departments that are not getting.
I hear you. That's not my specialty. It is Desiree's, and as we do the community engagement, talking to residents and talking about the needs of the neighborhoods, that will be something that perhaps we could look into. Okay?
Definitely.
Okay, so continue to come to meetings. When you see that Groundwork is hosting a meeting that we're doing community engagement around the Emerald Trail. Oh, how many times have I said that? Okay, come to the meeting and make sure your voice is heard. And okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
And I do, well, with the heirs property thing, another thing that we require for our home repair program is that there not be any taxes due on that property. And their list is also offering assistance with paying back taxes, but not forever, y'all. We're talking about maybe a couple of years being behind. Don't, 2
years
Two,
behind,
yes.
2,500 per year bill.
And what LISC does that I really appreciate so much, they've worked with the neighborhood CDCs and neighborhood associations. And I will talk about Ms. Shirley, for instance. Ms. Shirley, who is the president of the North Riverside CDC, she takes the money down to the property appraiser's office and pays off those taxes in person to make sure those people are good. Ms. Shirley is 82, 83 years old. I can't remember. She tells you your birthday and then she starts adding
84
another
now.
one automatically. So that's another requirement. And I will stop talking because I could take a lot of time.
Yeah.
It is. Everyone says that about me. Anyway, it's my pleasure to introduce Ennis Davis, and I'll let him tell you more about himself. I think you're here to talk about the historical significance of this area. Whatever y'all want, ask him anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like I say, whatever you want, I'm actually urban planner by trade. My background's in architecture and real estate development. So dibbled and dabbled over the years. I come from a family that used to hustle in a whole bunch of different ways. So how you make money, there's a million different ways. I can pick potatoes and make money. You can change your oil, wash your car. There's a million ways to do it. So in my world, we apply that mentality to public policy, historic preservation, and really urban development. So I do a lot of anti-gentrification stuff across the country. I'm also the vice president or incoming president of the Florida Trust Historic Preservation, which is based out of Tallahassee. So over the years, I've got to know that type of world too and speak their language and understand their policy, which they tend to say, access to information is power. So for me, it was, all right, I know where I came from. You see what y'all talking about? There's lots of things that are available out there, and if we just know what that is and how to connect into that, we all benefit from it. So I guess I was asked to talk about the history and significance of the neighborhood. I would frame everything back to well, Jacksonville was founded as a city in 1822. In terms of black history here, it goes way before the city of Jacksonville. We are what is now, we're now considered the largest city in the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor. So we have a number of Africans, not only those who were enslaved through the transatlantic slave trade, but also a number of free people who were here as well before the city of Jacksonville was established. In the east side in particular, this land during slavery, while most people think this corridor as rice plantations, indigo plantations, cotton, sea island cotton, things like that, this was actually more industrial along the river. So a lot of the crops and stuff that were grown in places like upriver, like Palatka, Orange Park, they were shipped into port in this area. And then there were lumber mills, there were brickyards here. A lot of what became Jacksonville was built out of this area. So you might hear names like Henry Flagler Railroad. Flagler ain't laid no railroad track. He was sipping on lemonade while somebody else was doing the work. So these neighborhoods are very significant in terms of that. Jacksonville would not be here if it wasn't for this area. There's a number of different plats, and a plat is basically like a subdivision. So if I started up north, well, City of Jacksonville would have been just a downtown North Bank during the Civil War. After the Civil War, if you were black, you likely stayed on either end of the city, but not in the city. So if you was on the west, that's La Villa, that's Brooklyn. La Villa starts to grow out to northwest, that's Northwest Jacksonville. So Moncrief, Durkeeville, Newtown, all those are really extensions of La Villa over the years. If you were on the south side of McCoy's Creek, Brooklyn, as that grew west, that became the west side. When my parents were attending church in Brooklyn back in the 60s, Brooklyn was known as the west side back then, is how they referred to it. Out east, so if you were on that west side, you were out east. So Oakland being the oldest plat, 1869, Campbell's Addition just north of that, 1885. And then if you're African American, those are the two African American spots. And then if you jump past Phoenix up into East 21st, that was established around